Well, welcome back to OpenLine. I'm Claire Kopskey, joined today by J.C. Bowman of the Professional Educators of Tennessee. We're talking about the topic of teacher shortages across the state. It's going on here in Metro's district here in Nashville, but also across the state. We've got a couple of weeks before school starts. Some people are starting here next week.
Yes.
And there are positions open. This is not just a this year unique problem, but there certainly have been more openings this summer than in a long time.
There has been across the state, and that's the fear that we're going to have, is that the schools that need teachers the most are going to be the schools that are excluded first, because teachers are going to say, you know, I'm not going to go to that school.
Right.
And so it's just setting kids further back that need help the most.
It's been a hard couple of years in the education system. Kids have been through a lot. Teachers have been through a lot with the coronavirus, but this has been, as we discussed earlier, a little bit of a ticking time bomb of, teachers have been up against a lot for a very long time. We want to talk about solutions. What do you all see, even in the next couple of weeks, that could help, say, to some teachers that are saying, I'm done, I'm out, but what could maybe turn the table for some of them? You mentioned a few incentives you could give them, or just lifting the weight for a few things to take something off their plate. What else is there that could incentivize teachers to go back here in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I don't know that there's a magic button there. So, I mean, it goes back to the recruitment and the retention. So, I mean, and that's not going to be the easy part. Alabama, they suspended their praxis exam for 2 years. That helped them get in there. There are people who are qualified, like, for example, the Wilson County case. I don't know if you saw that in Wilson County. They couldn't find a physics teacher, so they've had to shut down their program. So those kids in Wilson County are not going to be able to take physics. So there may need to be partnerships with higher ed and use people that are qualified to teach physics at that, and do some type of joint partnership for some of the advanced courses.
You're talking about moving people around who don't usually teach a subject and teaching them to teach it in the next couple of weeks.
Well, so I'm talking about using higher ed, people who are teaching. You know, if you're a professor in higher ed, you can't teach high school, K-12. You have to be certified, so you have to go in and do that. So we've got to do something. So if you did like a dual enrollment program, say with Belmont, or pick one, MTSU, wherever, MTSU for Wilson County, they could go into their physics department and get a physics teacher to come over and teach their class. That would be one part of the solution that they could adopt to at least address that need. And maybe they move a teacher who's teaching another one of the sciences, down further to address some of that need. I talked to a superintendent in Upper East Tennessee. He has no advanced math teachers, none. I mean, that's going to have to do that. So the other option you have is that you're going to have teach it remotely. So you're going to, if you really want to teach the class, so you're going to have to advance. So these are some of the higher levels. So this shortage is going to hit the higher kids, the kids that are higher performing, our future doctors and teachers and other things that take physics. How are they going to get that? So you're going to have to be creative in how you do it. But it goes back to the quality of life, taking things off their plate. I have a friend that's a principal in South Carolina, and what they did was they did away with faculty meetings completely. I don't know why we do faculty meetings past the year. And the easy fix for that is, she said, I record a message on Sunday, she said, on a memo, and I email it to them, and I text them. I ask them how they want to get the thing, and I tell them in 5 minutes what I want to tell them over the week. This week's this in the school, and do it, and I send it. No more faculty meetings. That's a no-brainer for teachers. I mean, you're going to keep teachers after school for another hour to talk about something that you could say in 3 minutes.
That some of the technology is helping improve that. We're making that easier. But we're also seeing, especially after this pandemic, we've seen virtual teaching become something that I think other parts of the country, too, are talking about, making this more of a normal thing, to have one class of the day be taught by a virtual teacher, to take off this pressure from these districts to have a national teacher come in and teach us. How do teachers feel about that?
A lot of them don't like it, but I will say to you that there has to be a certified teacher in that classroom. Not necessarily in that field, but a teacher there, because you're still going to have to help that child. So if there's a a foreign language you want to take, Japanese or German or something that you want to teach, and you don't have that offered, you could teach that, but you might have another, either a Native American or a native speaker, or you might have a teacher that can speak that language as well. It may be not certified in that classroom to assist the students and how they learn it. So it's not removing a teacher from the classroom. It's just using other technology to meet a need, to check it off, to make sure we're getting our students taught.
Right. We talked about this respect level being maybe, there's no silver bullet, but that would certainly help. Teachers are saying that would certainly help. Do they feel like the sentiment of the lack of respect is coming from kids, or is it, has that changed? Have kids changed, or is it just externally?
It is kids, and kids have been disrespectful for a long time. And coming out of the pandemic, we saw a lot of mental health issues. One of the other things that we've championed was mental health. Now, let me take it to the next step. We push the kids needing mental health. We've not talked about teachers needing mental health. And there's a lot of teachers, again, they're going through life changes, they're going through things. They need help. And if you say, I need help, I need to go do something, you may get marked. I mean, somebody may not, oh yeah, don't get her to do that or whatever. We've got to destigmatize what it is for mental health. People need to be able to go discuss it. I had a friend commit suicide, and that's when I got real deep into doing mental health stuff. Bullying. I mean, teachers are the same way. We're seeing teacher assaults go up, as I mentioned earlier. It's through the roof, and they're underreported. And teachers don't want to be punching bags. That's the statement I got from a teacher earlier this year. I'm tired of being a punching bag. I had a teacher today tell me she'd been spit on 200 times last year. Yeah. Teachers
they have a lot. They're up against a lot. There's not a lot of other professions like what they do, but there are many of them who have stuck it out. They love it. There's a reason why they do it. They believe in it. Is that what keeps the people there who are there now? Is that one of the only reasons it's keeping them there?
That's exactly the motivation, is that teachers they love kids. And for the one kid or the two kids that disrupt their class, there's 28 of them that they see that light. I told people that one of the other arguments that somebody said, well, teaching is not an art. I beg to differ. Teaching is very much an art. It's a science. You look at it, you learn, okay, this is how I dissect this, I see this, I understand, I can help them here, this is where I do it. But then it's an art. I could literally look at a kid and see when they were off task. When I look at it, I look and see, and I can do that. That is an art. That doesn't just happen because it comes from years of experience. That's why our experienced teachers are so valuable. We need to come recruit our new teachers. Here's the other thing that you start out. We've bumped teacher salary up. Now in Nashville, it's $48,000. Has it kept up with inflation? Probably not. But they made a big effort. I think everybody agrees that there was a giant effort this year to get teacher salaries up in Nashville. Is it enough? I don't know. But I will tell you that the state average was $37,000. It would take them 10 years to get up to $44,000. And so it's those years in between that they're going, is this job worth it? So you've got to give them incentive to move up. And what that looks like, whether it's paying them for going into tougher situations to teach in, paying them for teaching harder classes, we need to put everything on the table and let our locals decide how best to implement that and get more money to our teachers.
So many aspects to that, absolutely. Just to wrap up here, we got just a minute here. If there's only one thing that you could say to those who are in these decision-making seats about how the current situations could be better for teachers, if you had 20 seconds of their time, what would you tell them?
I would tell you, stay with it. It gets better if you will fight and you will speak out. The teachers are afraid to speak out. I think that those days have got to go away. Well, that's why we have to give our teachers more freedom to speak out on issues. They won't come on your show. They won't come on and do television. They won't speak on most shows because they are afraid of that. We got to take that out and let the public, be vulnerable, be able to say, this is what's wrong with our school. We know what's wrong with Tennessee schools, and Tennesseans can fix Tennessee schools if we had support in our General Assembly and our policymakers and our school boards. We could do it. I really believe in that. We're the exporter of great ideas from the state, and we've got a history, and we can do it. So what an honor to be on the show tonight.
Absolutely. Well, you're saying, so for teachers, stick with it. Because you think there's change coming? I
think that if they'll stick with it and we can unite and I think keep speaking out, I think we can get the change that we want to see. I know the system is somewhat broken, and maybe the system somewhat needs to be fixed. But 90% of our kids are educated in public schools. They will always be educated in public schools. We have got to focus on fixing public schools.
And that's about listening.
And we need to listen to our teachers.
Listen to the teachers. And you think more open forums, or what would be something that you would like to see change this year within districts across the state?
Well, for the state legislature, I think they ought to bring in all the colleges of education, talk to them directly. I think they need to bring in teachers, and teachers need to come in and speak. And the school boards, they need to bring teachers in to teach. More importantly, school board members need to go volunteer in their local schools that they serve and are elected to serve in. I think you need to see state legislators need to sign up as substitute teachers or bus drivers. I know a couple that do that. But we had an administrator in Polk County that got tired of hearing about the shortage in bus driving. He went and got his bus driver's license. So he drives a bus. I mean, these people need to say, I've got a stake in this game, and I am going to make it. If it's going to fail, it's not going to fail on my watch. And for the policymakers to speak from on high, they need to come down to the grassroots level and hear what's actually being said, listen to them. I'm telling you, the great ideas come from the teachers themselves if somebody will just listen.
It seems so simple. It seems so simple that the respect could be the first thing, pay secondarily. It doesn't seem like they're asking for the moon and the stars, is what you're saying.
They're not. They want that respect. And I think if you look at who we're hiring as teachers and we figure out that life cycle, we go, can we make sure we take care of the child care? Do we take care of maternity leave? Do we make sure we're taking care of them for that?
Absolutely.
Do we take care of the end of life situations?
Sure.
And I think
there's so many things there. So many things there. Well, we are appreciative, JC, that you joined us here on Open Line tonight, and we will be right back.
Thank you.